Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Elise Hand, and I'll be your moderator for today's update on the Nova Scotia wildfire situation. Joining us today is Kim Masland, Minister of Emergency Management, along with Justin Enslow, Deputy Warden of Annapolis County. From the Department of Natural Resources, Jim Rutherham, Director of Fleet and Forest Protection, and Scott Tingley, Manager of Forest Protection. Also joining us is Andrew Mitten, Director of Regional Operations with the Department of Emergency Management. And we will begin today with remarks from Minister Masland, Deputy Warden Enslow, and Jim. Following that, reporters can ask one question and one follow-up question. We ask that you please use the raise hand function at the bottom of your screen under the reactions section to ask a question. And if you don't have a microphone, you can put your question in the chat, but also be sure to use the virtual raise hand function. We do have a hard stop at 2:30 today, and a reminder that outside of this media availability, media should direct all questions about the wildfires to wildfirecoms@novascotia.ca. Minister Masland, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Elise, and thank you to Deputy Warden Enslow, Jim, Scott, and Andrew for joining me today. The Long Lake wildfire is still out of control at 8,234 hectares. As the Premier mentioned on Monday, we know that unfortunately there has been loss of homes. Until now, we haven't given numbers on how many homes were damaged or lost out of respect for the homeowners. They deserve the respect of being informed first. The municipality has worked hard to connect all the affected residents, and fire crews have assessed all properties in the evacuation zone. So today, I confirm that there are 505 civic addresses in the current evacuation zone. In terms of how many people that translates to, we can't say for certain because not all evacuees have registered with the Red Cross and not all evacuated buildings were residences. What we do know is that 267 households and 518 people registered with the Red Cross. But again, that's not the full number of evacuees. I can confirm with a heavy heart that 20 homes were lost. Not all of these were primary residences. There were also 11 lost or damaged buildings like garages and sheds that were not on the properties of the 20 lost homes. There were 88 homes in the evacuation area that had sprinkler systems in place. Of those 88 homes, only 3 with sprinklers were lost because of reasons like topography or vegetation. Assessment of damage will continue for other homes, outbuildings, campers, trailers, as it is safe to do so. I want to speak directly to all of those who have lost a home in this wildfire. My heart breaks for what you're going through. I can't even imagine the stress this devastation has put on you and your family. The heartbreak of seeing the place you filled with memories and comfort and safety being destroyed so suddenly is not something that I can wrap my mind around. Please know that we are here for you to help you recover. And for those of you who have been evacuated from your home, our goal is to get you back home as soon as it's safe. I know that being displaced from your home is not an easy thing, but we need to ensure that you can go back safely. While working hard to get you back, we have to remember that this is still an active wildfire, so it's not safe yet. On Tuesday, my department announced financial support for evacuees of the wildfire. Information on how to apply for this support will be available on the Department of Emergency website later this afternoon, and it's also available through your municipality if you choose to apply in person. I encourage everyone who is eligible for funding to claim it. And just today, my department also launched a tool to give Nova Scotians more access to critical alerts through a Nova Scotia Alert app. This free alert system works with mobile phones using older 3G networks on Wi-Fi, meaning that it can provide emergency alerts in many areas of the province with low cellular coverage. The current National Alert Ready system requires LTE or 5G networks, which we know are not available in many parts of rural Nova Scotia. More information on the app can be found on the emergency management website. So many people from organizations across Nova Scotia and other provinces have been fighting this fight in lockstep. Annapolis County staff, our DNR firefighters, our local firefighters and crew from Ontario, our own helicopter water bomber fleet, aircraft from Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Northwest Territories, Quebec, and PEI. The Nova Scotia Guard and all of our partners, the Red Cross, Salvation Army, and our federal partners at 14 Greenwood. The list goes on. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for all you're doing to keep Nova Scotians safe. The only other thing I'd like to add is that for anyone who would like to help in the wildfire effort, you can contact the Salvation Army with donations to support evacuees of the Long Lake wildfires, or contact the Nova Scotia Guard to offer your skills for future emergencies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister Masland, and we'll hand it over to Deputy Warden Enslow to say a few words.
Thank you for having us today. I don't want to echo everything that the minister just stated, because it is a very difficult time for the residents that are within Annapolis County, and our hearts have broken for the members and the families that have lost their homes or damaged property. And we also, our hearts go out to the people that are still evacuated. We do also want to take this time to thank everyone that's helped, whether it's the volunteer firefighters in the local area or across Nova Scotia, the Department of Emergency Management, the Department of Natural Resources, the federal government with 14 Wing, as well as the Nova Scotia Guard, Red Cross, Salvation Army, and also a group that often gets forgotten is our municipal staff that are working diligently to support this through our REMO office, and working to make sure that not only are our residents getting supported, but we can continue with operations. So we do want to express that we are going to be here for the long haul. We are the ones that know our residents, that will continue to be here to support. And that's why throughout this, we've worked very diligently with the province of Nova Scotia. And we're very happy to announce the fact that we've partnered with the Department of Emergency Management on having a navigator program. So we are in the process of hiring a navigator that will support families that have been affected by evacuation and loss and damage. And this person's sole responsibility is to work with those people affected by this forest fire. This individual will start work this Saturday from 10 until 7 p.m. So 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. And their sole job is to support you, our residents within Annapolis County that have been affected by this fire. They will work to provide information and insight for members that lost their homes, whether they're insured or not insured. If people are insured, we encourage you to reach out to your insurance company to start the process. But this navigator will also assist you in supporting that transition. We know that it's going to be difficult. I can't personally imagine what you're going through, and I don't think anyone can unless you're going through it. For members that do not have insurance to cover their loss, this individual will help support you through that process to navigate programs that would support you, as well as work with the province to find additional services to support. We're going to get through this together. We've been in this together, we've fought together, and we're going to conquer this together. So we just want to make sure that we have the resources available to move us forward to the next chapter. So just again, for the Navigator program, this will be located at the Bridgetown Fire Hall, starting on Saturday the 30th from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. And this person is solely to look after the people that are affected by this. We feel it's important for us to have someone in that role that is fully aware of Annapolis County, our different communities, and each community has their own distinction. And the person that will be in this role will be from Annapolis County and knows the resources and the people that live within it. We will continue to work with them and work with all the residents. It's just a very difficult time. We are going to stand here with you, and we'll continue to do so. We're here for the long haul, and I appreciate everything that the province has done and everyone that has been evacuated, the patience. We understand, as we go through this, we're in it together. This is still an out of control fire, and what we have learned from this past Sunday is unpredictable, and we want to continue to make sure and ensure everyone's safe. Not just the people that live in the areas, but the people that are actively supporting and fighting this fire. And we just want to make sure that everyone is safe. We've been unfortunate so far to have no loss of life or anything related to that. And we want to continue to see that. So thank you very much for having us. And thank you, Minister, for the support that you've been giving and the programs that your department has been providing. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Warden Enslow. And finally, Jim, over to you when you're ready.
Thank you. First, I'd like to say that I can't express enough my sadness to those people who have lost their homes or their damage to their properties. Since we started this fight, we've been trying very hard to not have this happen. Every day, our crews go into the forest to tirelessly fight this fire, to protect Nova Scotians, our homes, and our forests. And of course, across the rest of the province, our crews remain vigilant to try to jump on any new potential fires very quickly because we are still working against the weather. Our top priority, of course, is to keep people safe, and we're doing everything we can to bring this fire under control. We are continuing to work on the perimeter to try to control it with a focus, especially on the northern part of this fire, which is in part of the new containment zone for evacuations, where you have many people on the ground using water with hose and hand tools, many pieces of heavy equipment that we've contracted from different groups around the province working as well. And we have numerous pieces of aircraft in the form of planes and helicopters. We are still fighting against the weather with this, and we continue to push as hard as we can to bring this fire under control.
Thanks very much, Jim. And thank you, Minister Masland and Deputy Warden Enslow. I know we've gone a little long with our remarks, so we will, in recognizing that, we will go a little bit longer than 2:30 today with questions, and we will open up the room, the virtual room for questions. So we'll start with Mitchell Bailey with Global News. Go ahead.
Hi, guys. Yeah, I know more assessments are being done. So is there any possibility that number of 20 homes lost might increase once it's safer to further inspect certain residential areas?
I could take that one. No, I feel confident that all of the properties that have been inspected, as I said on yesterday's presser, that we had to get to the lower area of the fire line to assess those properties, and those have all been checked now.
Thanks very much. Next, we'll go to Lindsay with the Canadian Press.
Hi there. I understand that that the homes were lost on Sunday. I know that the Hurricane Erin winds had a big part in changing the fire behavior. Perhaps, Scott, could you explain a little bit about what happened Sunday and how you understand that the fires destroyed these homes?
Sunday was the day the winds switched back to southerly, southwesterly, and pushed the fire back towards West Alhousie, and then ultimately crossed the road and up towards Paradise Lake. And so it was the switch back to the southerly winds and very, very dry air that we experienced. There's low humidity, like Jim's mentioned before. Everything that we didn't want to happen with the weather happened on Sunday. So high winds, low humidity, and the wind direction pushed it back in towards the homes.
Nancy, did you have a follow-up question? Nancy, you might be on mute there. There you go.
Sorry. I'm wondering too if you can perhaps a question for Deputy Warden, talk a little bit more about the ongoing support and that new role, how this person was found, and what they're going to get started doing right away when they believe they begin this weekend.
Thank you for that question. So the person has been identified and there's been an offer given. But in the meantime, if that person is unable to start on Saturday, we have resources available to start this staffing process. So this person will work with each individual as needed to help point them in the right direction, help them fill out paperwork, help them look for different resources, basically to take any type of stress off of these individuals to help them navigate this. We were very fortunate to partner with the province on this, and it's just another way that we can continue to support, just like we have been through this whole entire situation.
Thanks. Next, we'll go to Daniel with All Nova Scotia. Sorry about that. Here's the question from Daniel. It's from the chat. How many burn ban and woods ban fines have been handed out so far?
Yep. So the Department of Natural Resources has laid 9 charges for the burn ban and 10 charges for wood restrictions. And other police agencies have laid 7 charges for the burn ban today.
Okay, thanks. Daniel, did you have a follow-up question you want to put in the chat? Just wait a moment here. No follow-up. Thanks very much, Daniel. Julia Wong with CBC.
Hi, thank you so much for taking my question. Hundreds of homes were evacuated, but as you all have said, 20 were lost. It could have been so much worse. How do you describe the damage that was done? Is it a success that more homes weren't destroyed?
I take that. Yeah, I think it was. I think it was a success. Using the sprinkler protection kits on the homes that we could, I think it definitely was a success there. Yes.
It's also important to note that a lot of the work done by the crews week previous to that certainly aided in that as well, with the breaks they built and the containment that they did have. They held that fire for part of that day until it was just overwhelmed by the weather. So the work and the effort of the firefighters also helped contribute to that success.
Julia, did you have a follow-up?
I do, thank you. Just curious if there's any sense of a timeline for evacuees. What might be a reasonable timeline, whether evacuees may be able to take a bus tour to see the homes that were destroyed, or a sense of when they may actually be able to go back home?
Yeah, we'll work closely with the Department of Natural Resources, as Minister had mentioned at the beginning of this. We want to make sure that everything is 100% safe before we can get back in to have a look at that with the public and those that are truly affected. They are a priority, but the safety of those folks are a priority as well.
Thanks. Ian Fairclough with the Chronicle Herald.
Hi, I was just curious if any of the homes that were in the path of the fire that weren't sprinklered, were there any homes in that path that didn't burn when the fire jumped the road and headed towards Paradise Lake? And if not, if is anything kind of happening now to try and keep them protected?
Yeah, that's right, Ian. There were some homes that weren't damaged. There were things that the crews did to where we weren't able to put sprinklers for a variety of different reasons of water supply and such. They were able to go in and do some manual hydration, which essentially just meant taking a tanker or an engine into the yard and wetting it down. But they also did things like removed propane tanks and, equipment, patio furniture, etc., from decks to try to mitigate any fire spread. And the crews they haven't left. They've been there from the beginning, and they'll continue to go through and ensure that any of those homes and risks are mitigated and protected.
And just as a follow, this either be Scott or possibly Andrew, just wondering what effect there is on the growth of a wildfire once structures become involved.
I mean, once structures become involved, they're a different type of fuel in a sense. Don't mean to be callous, but they'll, depending on the nature of the structure and the things it's built with, they may contribute to increasing the intensity for a short term, but probably minimal impact on the overall spread of the wildfire. The wildfire was mainly dictated by the weather and just how dry the forest fuels were.
I could just add to that, Ian, the crews, as I said, mentioned, they continue to go through that area. Those are a lot of the things that they'll look for because, as Scott mentioned, structures are different and burn in different ways. So going through and maintaining good vigilance on any hot spots and taking care of them is focus of the crews as well.
Thanks. We'll go to Caitlin Snow with Acadia Broadcasting.
Hi there. I think this is for the Deputy Warden. We're seeing a lot of things on social media about community members stepping up to help those evacuated. What do you have to say about the camaraderie seen in the community?
Well, there's one simple word: phenomenal. What we're seeing within Annapolis County and across Nova Scotia is just phenomenal. We are the true, strong, and Nova Scotia strong, and we'll continue to do that. And we're seeing it continue to grow as we go through this process. There's more and more people willing to donate their time, their effort, as well as monetary things. We want to encourage people to continue to do that, and if it's financial, that they need to make sure so it goes to the right individuals, that it needs to go to the Salvation Army to make sure that it has the greatest impact.
Just to follow up on that, are there any specific stories that you have heard of that stand out to you?
There's way too many. Just the fact alone that when this forest fire started, the community that was affected in West Dalhousie stood up and donated the facility and cooked for the people that were saving their area. It is just truly amazing. The other is the amount of support we're getting from neighboring municipality residents. So the fact that Shelburne County, Barrington municipality has been bringing thousands and thousands of dollars worth of donated material to support our firefighters and first responders and Department of Natural Resources folks just shows that we are all in this together.
Okay.
Thanks. Jason Malloy with the Annapolis Valley Register.
Might be a question for Andrew. Just trying to get a sense on, are all the 20 homes clustered in a relatively small area, or do we have homes that have been lost spread out in a larger West Dalhousie area?
No, Jason, they're spread out throughout the three roads: Morris, West Dalhousie, and Thorne.
Okay, thank you.
And next, we can go to City News, Halifax. Natalie? Excuse me, Natasha.
It's okay. I am just wondering, we're expecting conditions to stay dry. Is there a fear that we could see similar conditions than what we saw on Sunday in the days ahead?
Yes, until this fire is under control, there's always a fear that the weather will take a turn for the worse again, which is why we're very carefully doing everything we can to get this fire contained and to bring it under control. And we are watching every forecast and every drop of water as carefully as we can, and we continue to.
Thank you. I hate to ask this question, but without photos, I'm just kind of wondering if you can differentiate between homes lost versus maybe homes severely damaged, if that is the case?
I mean, homes lost are lost. There's not much left to them, if anything. And then homes damage would be, things like, melted siding or materials around the home.
Sorry, do we have any indication of how many are damaged?
I don't have that number right in front of me. We could probably get that for you at some point, though.
Thank you.
Thanks. Brett Ruskin with CBC.
Hi, folks. Just this new navigator, what type of person are they? Are they kind of more of a therapist to offer some comfort to folks, or more of a bureaucrat familiar with the different support systems who can help literally navigate the people in need?
Thank you for the question. So the individual that will fill this role is someone that is familiar with Annapolis County, but is also familiar with the resources that the bureaucracy has. So they're well aware of the different resources out there for people, but at the same time, they may not be a therapist, but this person will be there just to listen, because there are times that someone just needs to listen through people to make sure that they have someone to bounce ideas off. And out of that, this individual might be able to actually get more information on how to help. We want to make sure that the person that we chose is someone that everyone would feel comfortable with, and that would be able to also navigate the resources to be able to provide that information to individuals.
Well, that's helpful. Thank you. And then possibly for the minister about the new Nova Scotia Alert app. If we had this app, would we have changed the way that we were sending out alerts for this fire? Would there be different kind of guidelines for what gets sent out through Alert Ready and what gets sent out through NS Alert?
So the NS alert will simply reach more people. The Alert Ready works on 5G coverage and LTE, and we obviously know that in many rural areas of Nova Scotia, folks don't have that. So the Alert Ready app would work on 3G and Wi-Fi signal, which would give more people access to that information.
Thanks very much. Next, Nicola Sagan, CBC.
Thank you. This is for Minister Masland. With hundreds of people displaced right now, and then 20 people who will be displaced in the long term, some community volunteer leaders have been expressing concerns about housing and a kind of housing crisis that's popping up right now. What can the province do to help house these people? Like, will you bring in modulars, or what's the plan there?
So we know yesterday the municipality spent the day calling folks that lost their homes in the wildfire. Today, they are calling everyone who's been evacuated to get a complete assessment of the need and the needs of the community. And that will inform us on how we go forward. I must say, I had the opportunity to be down in Annapolis yesterday and spent some time with folks from the municipality. And it's just incredible what they're doing. You can see in their face how tired they are, but they're doing everything they possibly can to make sure that those who are evacuated have the support they need. And as the deputy warden has indicated, we will stand shoulder to shoulder with the municipality going through this. We're in this together, but we're going to recover together.
So when staff talk to the evacuees and they say they have nowhere to go, will the province help find them a place, or how will that work? We had one volunteer saying it's not appropriate to have a 93-year-old woman sleeping on a cot in an auditorium for days on end. So what will happen?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we really need to work with the municipality. They're contacting everyone who's been evacuated so that we can get an assessment of their needs. We know some evacuees are staying with family. The pets are being housed. So we will continue to work with the municipality and folks and do whatever we can to try to help. But we're lockstep with our municipality, and I think once we have a complete assessment of the needs of folks that are evacuated, we'll be able to go forward with plans.
Thank you.
Thanks, Minister. Thanks, Nicola. Andrew Lamb with CBC.
Hi, good afternoon. I know we've mentioned that we don't think the 20 homes number will increase, but I'm just wondering, for the homes that were not destroyed, to what extent are those still in danger?
It's, as I mentioned before, it's still an active wildfire. There is still the danger of something happening that through all things we can do, we can't prevent. But I do know that the Department of Emergency Management continues to help with structure protection and get that in place to try to avoid anything again.
Thanks. And for the Navigator program, I'm just wondering, is that something that people can just show up to at the fire hall, or will there be some sort of appointment system for folks?
No, so at this point, people can just show up during the time. So starting Saturday from 10 until 7. Now, as we progress and go through, and if the need increases, then of course we'll work with the province to adapt that plan. And we're trying to make this to ensure that it's most barrier-free as possible for the people that we're supporting.
If I could just add to that, we'll also have members of the Nova Scotia Guard there that will assist the Navigator and with folks coming in. So I don't want you to think it's, this Navigator is going to be there all by herself. She's going to have lots of supports as well, or she or he, sorry. But it'll be a place where people will be able to come and find information and comfort.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agathe with Radio Canada.
Good afternoon. I just need maybe more precision, like on Saturday, how people will be able to reach the Navigator, and how many Navigator are going to start at that time.
Thank you. So right now we have one Navigator, and like I said previously, that if it continues and need to be increased, of course we'll be having those conversations with the province, but also the minister stated that the Nova Scotia Guard will be there to help as well. There may be some tasks that they can help with, just sitting with someone to listen to, but all the individuals need to do is arrive at the Bridgetown Fire Hall, located at 31 Bay Road in Bridgetown, and they can get the support that they need.
Thank you. I just have another question about the financial support, because there is a couple who whose home have been destroyed, and they received $17,000 in 1 day thanks to a fundraiser. I'm just wondering if you think you will increase the financial support for wildfire, which is a maximum of $500 for an adult after at least 8 days of evacuation, if I'm right.
So we know the financial support that we've put in and put in very quickly, 4 to 7 days, $500 per adult, and then $200 per minor, an additional $500 per day. Additional $500 per adult, an additional $200 for a minor for 8 to 14 days. And then over 15 days, an additional $250 per week per adult, and an additional $200 per minor. Again, as we have mentioned, the municipality is spending the day today reaching out to folks who are part of the evacuation. Folks that have lost the homes were contacted yesterday, And we will be sitting with them and assessing the needs and how we can help going forward.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We are about to wrap here, folks. I know everyone who had registered to ask a question has asked their question in a follow-up, but Mitchell Bailey, I didn't get a chance to offer you a follow-up question. So if you'd like to do that, you can go ahead.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, knowing that this navigator is someone from the county who's familiar with the area, could they, let's say, be someone that might work to connect and evacuate a person with somewhere to rent or stay in the short term?
Of course. So this individual will be working for the municipality, and we'll be providing them all the resources. So if someone needs that support, then the navigator will be able to point them in that direction. And we are going to, with the partnership with the province, provide every resource available to support this navigator to then support the people that are affected.
Thanks very much. And lastly, Sheldon McLeod with MBS Radio.
Thank you, Elisa. A question for Minister Masland. The Nova Scotia alert, do you have the protocols spelled out as to how people will access that? Is it going to be available to individual fire departments? Will it be available to government agencies? I'm just curious how you will prioritize that and put that alert out.
Yeah, so the Nova Scotia Alert is available to anyone. It's a subscription-based alerting system. It'll enhance, it's not going to replace the current national Alert Ready system, but everyone can download that through Google Play and the Apple Store.
My apologies, I guess I wasn't clear. For the agencies who want to put out an alert, whether it's a fire department or police agency, has that process been spelled out yet?
You would continue the same way an alert would be issued now, Sheldon.
My understanding is the Alert Ready has to go through a CAO or municipal official that way.
That's correct, and nothing has changed there. This is just an alert app for folks to download so they're aware of what might be happening in their area. They can customize it to their area. They can customize it to an area that they're going to. Say, for example, they're going camping for the weekend. There's not going to be any, they'll only have 3G. They could then have that app if there was anything happening, any emergencies that they should be alerted to in that area.
So the potential would be that you would get multiple alerts from multiple different services?
You could.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, everybody. We will leave it there. Please continue to monitor the province's social channels for the most up-to-date information. I want to thank everyone for joining us, and we will keep you updated as this situation continues. Have a great day, everyone.
Recording.